If you have a vision and you have a strategy, but you do not act, you just dreamed. Now you wasted your time, you wasted other people's time, and now you're not going to where you want to go. Where your heart is, so is your treasure. Because when you don't have a vision, your treasure is all over the place. If you do have a vision, your treasure is pointing in one direction. Get a vision, be committed to that vision. That will eliminate your distractions in life. Every wealthy person is not wealthy because they have a whole lot of money coming in. No, they're wealthy because they have a strategy on what to do with the margin of their income. What's going on, family? Your boy Ayo, short for Anthony O'Neal, the host of the popular YouTube show, The Table with Anthony O'Neal. And you're listening to Dreams and Drive. And I'm telling you right now, do not change that channel. As a matter of fact, ask someone to listen to the show with you because it's about to be a great one.
Hey, Dream Drivers. Welcome back to another episode of Dreams and Drive. Today we have an amazing guest back in the guest chair, Anthony O'Neal. We're going to be focusing in on what you have to do to change your life and what it means to get focused and eliminate distraction. Some of the things we're going to be talking about in this episode are things you have to be willing to lose in order to get ahead, why you need a strategy and a vision, and how to get rid of shame, because that is the key for so many of us, and we're not realizing it. So here's a little bit more about Anthony. Anthony O'Neal is a #1 national bestselling author of Debt-Free Degree, personal finance expert, and he's the host of the popular podcast and YouTube show, The Table. Since 2014, he has challenged cultural norms and equipped millions of people to live a debt-free life, break generational wealth gaps, and build true wealth. He has appeared on Good Morning America, the Tamron Show, CNN News, and more, and has been featured in Success Magazine, MarketWatch, Bloomberg. I am excited for you all to dive into his tips and his story, so please get ready, start buckling up. Before we go on this ride, though, I want to make sure you all are part of our newsletter community. If you're not receiving weekly newsletters from Dreams and Drive, me personally, Raina, go to dreamsanddrive.com/join. That's dreamsanddrive.com/join. And please make sure you are following Dreams and Drive across all social media platforms. All right, let's hear from Anthony.
Yo, Rana, thanks for having me back. I'm really excited to be here.
I am excited to have you back on. I think that you have such an amazing story. You are a dynamic speaker and just someone that I know are dream drivers. If you haven't caught the first episode with Anthony, we'll go and link to it in our show notes. But I'm just excited to have you back on. So before, we get into it, for those who don't know who Anthony Ayo O'Neal is, right? Let us know your dream driving story. Like, what was the catalyst moment for you? And then how have you been putting your dreams in drive over the years?
When I think about the last time you and I talked, I think we talked in depth about my actual story. And I love this question because I want the people, the listeners, to go back and watch that episode and really listen to it. But I think my turning point of my life was the very split turning point was I was in a car going to Six Flags in Los Angeles, California, and I saw a Bentley Continental. Never knew what that car was. But then I was also driving in a van that had no AC and it was hot. And we were all,
oh my gosh.
And we were all like, what in the world? And I was like, why? How come my family can't have that? Why do we have to be in here? And when I went home and started doing some research on what kind of car that was and how much that car is, and I was like, man, I want to get there, but I will never be able to get there living the lifestyle I'm living right now. And that was a turning point of me that really helped me to understand that there is more than life than just living paycheck to paycheck and getting accustomed to that. So I started just reading books like Robert Kiyosaki, Total Money Makeover, all these life-changing books. And then I took Financial Peace University. And I was like, man, there is more to this. And so I really want them to listen to the full story, but that was a turning point for me when I realized that I could have the Bentley one day. I could have my dream home. And my dream home is not a 15,000 square foot mansion. My dream home is a home that I want, that is paid for in a community of what I want. So my dream is I just want to be able to do whatever I want to do, when I want to do it, however I want to do it, and not be stressed about the finances. And I realized that at that time, the lifestyle that I was living and the lifestyle that I was taught was not going to get me there. And I said, I don't want to be here. That's where I want to go. And that was back in 2007, 2008. And man, history has been made since then.
So how many years has it been since 2008? Let me put my math. 16 years, right? That's
Uh-huh.
16 years ago. Wow. What do you think have been the biggest thing since 2008, 16 years ago that you've really had to implement? I know you kind of touched on them, briefly, but like if you had to go through like a list of like, here are the things that I had to do in order to really change my life around and to start putting yourself in the driver's seat of your own life. Because a lot of us are in the passenger seats of our own lives, right? Believe it or not, we're not the ones behind the wheels. So what for you were those things that you had to implement in order to get there?
I love that you said that, Raina, that we're not the drivers, we are the passengers. And when I think of the metaphor of like my new book, Take Your Seat at the Table, we're not sitting at the head of the table, we're sitting at the side of the table. And a lot of us think we're the drivers or the head of our tables. And one thing I realized that I had to do to go from sitting on a passenger seat to the driver's seat, sitting on the side of the table to the head of the table was I had to first be honest with myself that I'm in this position. I had to first sit back and acknowledge that, you know what? I'm not in a position to where I can really take control of my life. My boss is the head of my life. The creditors are the head of my life. Society, culture, friends are the head of my life. And I'm not really thinking for myself. I'm being told how to think, how to talk, how to walk, how to perceive things. And so when I first realized and say, you know what? I'm taking back control of my life. I'm taking back control and sitting in a driver's seat of my actual life. Man, it was such a rejuvenating experience because I finally felt like I could do what I want to do. Now, here's the thing, Raina. When I made that decision, I lost so many friends. I lost,
What?
yes, because people
Isn't
like,
it crazy? Like people don't want to see you doing better.
they don't because it doesn't benefit them, which let me know that I had the wrong friendships and the wrong people in my life because this was a one-way relationship, not a mutual beneficial relationship. It was, oh shoot, whenever you needed money, I went and put it on a credit card, but I had to pay the credit card back and I had to pay the interest back. Oh shoot, whenever you wanted that Dooney and Burke's purse that was big back in the early 2000s, I went and financed that thing so you can have it, but I had to pay it back and I had to pay the interest back. Oh shoot, it's time to turn up for the summer and go to Bike Week in South Carolina. Yo, let me put all the rooms on my credit card, right?
Were
So
you
it
actually
didn't.
doing these things, or these just examples?
No, I was doing these things.
Wow, you're nice. Listen. I'm my friends know. Don't ask me for nothing. Not in that sense. You know what I mean, though.
Right. You know what I'm saying? And so for me, when I started saying no, I'm not doing that. No, you want me to take you on a $200 date? No, I'm not doing that. Heck, I'm not even spending $100 on your behind. No, if that's what you want, no, because I'm taking control of my life. I'm taking the seat at the head of my own table, my own life. And if you're not going to help me fulfill the mission, the vision, and the assignment over my life, then you can't be in my life. And so when I took control back, I also, here's part two, I had to be willing to lose people, not friends, because true friends stayed. People who were only using me left. They started calling me arrogant. He think he all that because of this, or he changed. You daggone right I changed. I'm tired of living paycheck to paycheck. I'm tired of having the middle class life. I want more from my life and I want to experience more. And heck, I want to be married one day. And I want my wife and my children to experience a different kind of life that I had. And I want them to have a fulfilled life, a free life. And so when I changed seats, took control, I had to be willing to lose people. And number three, which is so pivotal, I'm sorry, you have to be willing to have mentors. You have to be
That's
willing to
key.
submit yourself to someone who is wiser and smarter than you in certain areas. Because if you don't, you will fail.
Let's get back to that, the mentorship, especially. But before we go there, I have a quick question. A lot of us have this desire, have this change that we want to make, but our mindsets, there's something within us that is holding us back, right? Like you can have all the desire in the world, but if you don't have the execution behind it, you don't get anywhere. How did you, or what were you doing to build that mental strength to keep going despite all the changes that were happening?
Two main things. I give them to you very quickly. Number one is I had to identify my why. One of my good friends, Dr. Darius Daniels, taught me something years ago. And he said, Anthony, if your why doesn't make you cry, then the price of commitment will make you cry. I remember sitting down with him and I was telling him, hey, man, I'm thinking about transitioning out of, Ramsey Solutions onto my own. And I was nervous because, man, it's great working with, one of the gurus in the financial space, but I feel God is leading me here. I said, but I'm nervous and I don't know if I could do it. He said, that just simply means you don't have a good why.
All right, so I know you're enjoying this episode with Anthony, but we're going to take a quick break to hear from one of our episode partners. Imagine a place where you can unwind and relax. IKEA can help turn your bedroom into a calm oasis. From comfy mattresses to the perfect lights, we've got everything to create your dream bedroom so you can sleep like a baby. And the best part, all at incredible prices. Head to IKEA and grab everything you need. Get ready to rest, dream, and wake up feeling refreshed. Shop today at your local store or at ikea-usa.com/sleep-es. And get it delivered straight to your door with our convenient delivery services.
That means your why is not so deep down in you that it makes you cry. It makes you want to keep going. He said, Anthony, if you're going to transition well, and this goes for everyone, if you're going to transition well and really go out there and build something of substance, obstacles are going to come. Issues are going to come. Life is going to happen. People are going to come in and leave your life. He said, but if your why is so deep that it gets you so emotional that when you think about your why, of why you're doing this, tears start to come out your eyes a little bit. You start to get a little watery. He said, then the price of commitment is going to be easy. I'm going to stay committed to this because I want my wife to come in and have a free life. I'm going to stay committed to this journey. I'm going to get over this speed bump. I'm going to get over this obstacle because I want to make sure that when I have kids that I can give them shoes when I only had one pair of shoes growing up for the year. We had one pair of school shoes, one pair of church shoes. Then we had one shoes to play outside in. So we only had 3 pairs of shoes. Now I want my kids to have a closet full of shoes and not struggling. So when I think about my why, I get emotional, and no matter what comes in front of me, I get over it. And then there's 4 simple things that I really apply every single year that keeps me going, that keeps me grounded, and it keeps me going. I want to give it to your people here. I call it, we know how to go out there and earn money, but do we know how to earn freedom? And when I say freedom, I'm talking about earn financial freedom. And I have a quick acronym for earn. E stands for evaluate where you are financially. So for me, I'm always evaluating where I am financially at whatever season I'm in. Every single year, at least 2 times a year. Beginning of the year is going to be right around January. And then on my birthday, I'm always evaluating where am I financially. I'm pulling up bank statements. I'm pulling up my credit report. I'm assessing my assets. Where am I financially? So once I evaluate where I am financially, then A stands for I'm going to arrange the vision. Sometimes that vision doesn't change. But I think the reason why a lot of us are struggling in life is because we don't have a clear vision for our life. We don't have a clear vision for our money. And I think the two have to be congruent, right? If your vision is, I want to be debt free by 2025, well, then the vision for your money, aka the budget, is it showing that you want to do that? Maybe you want to put down a 20% down payment on your first home or your next investment property. Cool. Does that show that in your budget? So I'm always arranging the vision. And here's what R is, which is probably the last 2 are so crucial, because I think a lot of us, we can evaluate our finances. We know exactly somewhat where we are financially, and we know a little bit of where we're going as far as in life, but we haven't really written it down. But the problem is, right now, we don't have a strategy. And that's what the R is. Render a strategy that's going to get you to the vision of your life. Every wealthy person is not wealthy because they have a whole lot of money coming. No, they're wealthy because they have a strategy on what to do with the margin of their income. So if they got $10,000 a month coming in, $5,000 in bills, that means they have a $5,000 margin. They have a strategy on what to do with that $5,000. And a lot of us, We think that because of TikTokers and YouTubers, that, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Like, no.
And you could do it alone, right? And you
Right.
could figure it out on your own. That's the big thing. Like, nope, if you're not an expert, please don't try to do this by yourself.
Don't do it. You got to listen to people like Randy. You got to listen to people like myself. You got to sit down with a financial advisor and get a strategy specifically and custom made for you. If you can do that, now you have a strategy. And here's where wealthy people win. Now they act. They take that strategy and they go apply it and do it. Because a strategy and a vision without action is just a dream. If you have a vision and you have a strategy, but you do not act, you just dreamed. Now you wasted your time, you wasted other people's time, and now you're not going to where you want to go. So I know I talked a lot, but that's my 2 cents on that question.
And I love that you ended it with you need to have some movement behind it, because, this podcast is called Dreams in Drive, meaning there's some movement behind the dream, right? And it's just not us dreaming, because we could just talk about dreams all day, but that's not what this show is about. So I really appreciate you sharing that. And one of the things that, as you were talking, it made me think there's probably somebody listening right now who's like, I'm ashamed to even get started. I'm ashamed of how I got myself in this hole. I'm ashamed that I'm not where I should be. What would you say to that person?
Well, shame only happens for 3 reasons. 3 reasons. Number 1, secrecy, right? I'm scared to be vulnerable enough to put out there to someone like Raina, to someone, whoever else, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm scared to put this stuff out there because I feel bad. So if we're going to get rid of shame, we got to get rid of secrecy. We have to communicate and we have to trust. We have to. And so the very first step is identify someone who can help you get better and tell them the truth. Prime example, I had I won't say a friend, but associate who came to me and said, "Y'all want to get better with my money? Can I get an hour of your time?" I said, "Cool, great. Before you do that, I need you to pull your three months of bank statements up. I need you to go through your budget and list out your budget. So when you come with me, we can use that hour effectively." So he did that. He came to me, and I noticed on his bank statement, there was a blackout on a couple of things.
But he actually blacked it out.
He blacked it out. You know what I'm saying? And he and I noticed on the budget he had $600 left that wasn't accounted for that he was spending. And I was like, "Well, what's this miscellaneous spending?" He was like, "Yeah, I don't know." I said, "Well, what's this blackout stuff?" He said, "I don't know. It's all good." I was like, "Whoa. You blacked it out, so you do know what's there." I said, "Listen, I can't help you if you're not willing to reveal everything about your finances. I'm not here to judge you. I'm here to help you. And I can't help you change your life if you're fearful." Now, sister, let me tell you. And I asked him, "Can I share the story without his name?" It was $600 of pornography.
What?
And I said,
that was not where I was thinking this was going to go.
Right. And I said, "Okay, bro, cool, great. Now listen, I can't help you with the act of that. I can help you with the money of that. Now, if this is something you want to talk with someone about, I can direct you in that direction. But now that we know that you're spending $600 in this area, now we understand where your money is going. And this, I want you to show you something. If you took this out of this category of pornography, let's say you just took this and put it inside of a 401k or a good mutual fund, I showed him the math. His eyes blew up. But then also, I saw that he was spending close to another $400 a month on eating out, spending $500 a month on groceries. His car payment was right around $800 a month. He was spending about $300 a month in subscription. So we ended up finding him close to $1,300 a month that he can put into a margin bucket now that we can invest. Well, this is about 2.5 years ago. Now he's no longer dropping that money inside of pornography. He only spent about $100 a month on eating out, and he brought his groceries bill down. And now he called me about a month ago. He was like, "Hey, yo, man, check this out. I now have about $30,000 in investment in my investment portfolio.
From having nothing from before.
At the age of 26. So now he is 29, going on 29, I think. $30,000 in that account, and he just got a new job. Man, it's going to be absolutely amazing. But that's what I mean when people say I feel shamed. Listen, You gotta put it all out there on the table when you find the right mentor, when you find the right person that's going to help you, right? And so if we can do that, amazing. Amazing.
And I love that you shared that story because, he had a distraction. I'll say that in quotes, right? Something that was really impacting his ability to build a financial future for himself. What are some other distractions that you see a lot of dream drivers, that you may work with come up against? And then why is it so important for us to get rid of these distractions? Or what are your tips for people who are, dealing with distractions and trying to figure out how to navigate past them?
Yeah, one of the distractions that I'll be honest with you on your show is dating for me.
Mm.
With me being single and then everyone knows who I am, um, I felt like I always had to come a little bit like a baller, if I want to say, like, yo, I got this. I'm Devin.
Flashy.
Yeah, and one of the things which was a distraction, which I no longer do it. I haven't done it for a long time. Probably why I'm still single, because I think everyone thinks I'm going to come with this, but it's like, no. I actually have a line item on my budget form to where I will not spend no more than $100 on the first date. And I do that intentionally because I can't afford to distract from the vision of my life. I refuse to show up to finals, AKA meet my wife. And I can't show up the way I should show up because I showed up and balled out for tryouts, girls who ended up being non-friends. For me, I think when you can identify what are your distractions in life and get rid of those immediately, or maybe not get rid of them, but turn them from distractions to maybe you can reposition them. Because I still got a date. I still desire to get married, but how I date has changed. And I think if we can turn things around differently, just reposition them, it can honestly be beneficial to our lives. And so I would suggest people do this. Be honest with yourself, get a sheet of paper and write down what are areas in your life that, one, are distracting you from growing financially. When I say growing, I'm talking about growing your mind financially. And what's another distraction that is honestly pulling finances out of your bank account. And I think sometimes, brothers, we tend to spend a lot of money on dates because we want to impress the woman. And my philosophy is this: if I have to impress you with money, you're not the one for me. I want to impress you with my integrity, I would say my brilliance, I would say my intellect. And also I want to impress her with, I'm listening to you. And I want to give you what you've been saying you like, you desire, and you want, without also going to the bank and dropping $300-$400. And so I think that was one of my distractions. And I think that's a lot of distractions for men. And a lot of men come to me and I'm like, yo, why did you spend $400 at Ruth Chris? Oh man, I took this chick out. Yo, why did you spend $350 at Steak 48 in Texas? Oh man, I took this chick out. Yo, bro, you spent $3,000 at the Post Oak in Houston? Yeah, man, I took this girl out to such and such. We went out there for the weekend. Wow. So dating for you is a problem. And then vice versa for ladies. We know hair, makeup, clothing, shoes, purses. So I just think at the end of the day, here's the reason why we have distractions: because we do not have a clear vision of where we want to go. If you have a clear vision and you're committed to that vision, where your heart is, so is your treasure.
That's a Bible verse, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah. So if I could look at if you have a vision or not have a vision, because when you don't have a vision, your treasure is all over the place. If you do have a vision, your treasure is pointing in one direction. And so I would definitely say, get a vision, be committed to that vision. That will eliminate your distractions in life.
So I know you coming out with a book in the new year, Take Your Seat at the Table, Live an Authentic Life of Abundance, Wellness, and Freedom. Anthony, what made you, why now for this book, right? And what do you really hope that people truly are able to take away from it?
I think for me, you said it earlier in the show, which is so beautiful that you said it, is that for years I thought that I was in the driver's seat of my life. For years I thought I was sitting at the head of my table. And the reason why I call my show The Table with Anthony O'Neill is not because I'm sitting at a table. Heck, I may change that and stand or sit at a chair. Uh, it's just a metaphor of my life, is that when I realize that I need to take control of my life, I need to be the decision maker of my life. That's when everything changed in my life. That's when I had more peace. That's when I had more freedom. That's when I had more love. That's when I embraced everything that God had for me. That's when I even started making more money. And watch this, I still had a job. I was still working 9 to 5, but I was walking differently because I was able to, and I saw where I was going. And I got tired, respectfully saying this, of being a puppet. I remember at one of my jobs, my boss told me what I should do and the trajectory I should take for my life without me asking him, or without him even asking me, what are your goals in life? Where do you see yourself in the next 15, 20 years? No, they told me what I should think. They told me how I should dress. They told me how I should maneuver, but no one cared about me. And that made me realize that, man, I don't control my life. And so this book is not the book that's going to make you $1 million. I'm going to be honest with you. This is the book that can make you multi-millions. Why? Because everything starts in our mind, and everything starts with laying down a foundation. And this book is going to help you lay down a foundation to where when you build and take the seat back, I'm going to show you how to fire people from your life and still love them. I'm going to show you how you can say no to your family members without your family members feeling like you've changed on them. I'm going to show you how you may have to fire your boss and reposition your boss in your life. I'm going to show you how your health is a huge problem with that. This book is going to help you take back your driver's seat and help you take a seat at the head of your table. And I can't wait for you to experience it.
I just feel like this is so crazy that we're even talking about this today, because I actually today just re-released a new newsletter, and I called it The Road Trip, right? And the first post today was Destination Look Within. And I talk about how, like, I went and I've been trying, I have all these goals for the podcast. Like, I want to grow. I want to grow the revenue, grow the community. And I was meeting with my business coach. I'll say that in quotations because he's really like a mentor. He's like, I got him through a program for free. But like, I've been working for the past year, and I kept wondering, like, why is nothing changing? Like, legit, like, we've been working together for a year and I have not hit any of the goals that we've set out, right? But then I realized, and I think he also realizes early on, and he kind of wanted me to come to my own, realize it for myself, is you can't want external change if you're not willing to do the internal stuff, right? And that's also something that every guest, I've had over 400 guests on this show, Anthony, and every guest have said, when I say, like, what's the biggest thing that, what's the key to success or whatever, the biggest theme is you can figure all the other stuff out, but you got to figure out your own ish first. And that's what's going to get you going. So hearing you talk about, you have to be willing to get into the driver's seat of your life, to take a seat at the head of your table, and to just take command of all those different areas. It just all makes sense. And I think it's a great theme for us to kind of hit off this new year with is, are you willing to take that step?
Such a good question. And here's the truth. I think a lot of people are willing to take the first step. They don't know how to, though. It's like, okay, I want to do it. I want to take control of my life, but I don't know how. I heard you. You said I'm not in the driver's seat. What do you mean? I heard you. I'm not sitting at the head of my table. What do you mean? I thought I was. And this book is literally going to show them how they're not, but how they can quickly do it. And it's easy. You just got to be willing to take the first step. And I'm going to guide you through that whole process.
Well, make sure y'all go and get the book then, right? This is gonna. I'm happy. As we wind down, I would just love to know, Anthony, like, in your own life now. I know we talked about before we got started. You have some new projects. You're working on some new, like, accomplishments, both professionally and personally. Like, what are some of the challenges that you're facing now? Because all of us dream drivers, we're all going through something, right? There's never going to be perfection in our lives. And how are you navigating through those?
One thing I'm going through right now is, man, I am back in school. One of the things that I got convicted about was, man, there's so many YouTubers and podcasters and TikTokers and all the type of stuff is popping up. And I would say the majority of this space are people who were just Googling and regurgitating information that they read. And I
Basically.
wanted to make sure, right, that I'm not only living what I'm teaching, but I also have the credentials behind it. So right now, one of my struggles is managing a business and back in school full time, actually going at it at a much larger space and place. And so that's hard to um, be back in school studying and running a full time 7-figure business and still have a personal life. But hey, it's worth it because the dream is so much bigger than me, and I know that this is only going to make me better to serve my audience, to serve my community, because not only now will I have the proof, but I'll have everything. So I love it.
And, I think it's also a brave step because you could have easily said, like, I don't have to, right? Like, it wasn't necessarily like a must do on your part, right? I'm pretty sure you're doing well, but like you knew that you had this goal that you really wanted to hit and you took that risk and you took that brave step, courageous step to do it. So I just want to also use that as encouragement for anyone listening. Like, you can definitely make that step if that's what you want.
Oh yeah, we can do it, and you will do it. I promise you that much.
So can you tell our listeners where they can check out your new book, where they can connect with you online, if they want to connect more and learn more about how they can take a seat at their table?
Yes. Please go to anthonyo.com/book. From there, you will see how you can get the new book. And what we're doing right now is if you get the book, we're going to send you a free 8-hour investment course with my financial advisor. She took me from when I was making middle class income right around $60,000-$70,000 a year. And she helped me build a 7-figure portfolio from back then all the way to where I'm at now. And so it's a free course, 100% free. There's no upsell. We're not selling you anything. It's like, hey, if you want this freedom, please get the book, get this free course, and we're going to bless you.
Yeah, and I want to just hit on that real quick. Get someone in your life who's a professional at what you want help with, right? I think that's a big key theme. A lot of us are trying to do everything ourselves. No, work with the experts. If you have to hire someone, get a financial advisor, get an expert on your team who can really help guide you. I've kind of been working with someone to help just set up like my finances, even like the estate planning stuff. And there's so much that you can learn when you work from an expert, when you get that mentor, when you get that coach. We're not meant to do it alone. Like, most cars have passenger seats. Just make sure if it's your car, you're in the driver's seat, right? And you're bringing in someone, along for the ride. So thank you so much, Anthony. This has been such a great episode. Again, happy that we're able to touch base and you're able to share with our dream drivers this new leg of your journey. So just want to say thank you. And I hope that our dream drivers got as much from this as I have. All right, so that's a wrap for this episode of Dreams and Drive. I truly enjoyed that you enjoyed hearing our guests' dream driving journeys as well as their keys to success. If you enjoyed this episode, please make sure you're sharing it with a friend. Forward this to someone who needs to hear Anthony's tips. I really just loved how practical he made everything. So we are counting on you, dream drivers, to spread this forward, pay this forward, send this episode to somebody in your life that you think needs to hear what Anthony has to share. If you're not already part of our email community, you can sign up at dreamsanddrive.com/join. That's dreamsanddrive.com/join. And please make sure you are following us all across social media. We are Dreams and Drive on all social media platforms. That is Dreams and Drive across all social media platforms. Keep dreaming, keep driving, and we'll chat again in the next episode. Bye, guys.